Hi, my name is Jesse Eddy. I'm one of the regional sales directors here at RapDev, focused on our observability practice. RapDev, as a global leading partner of Datadog's, works with many financial services companies, including some of the largest banks in the world, largest payment processors in the world, and even those companies that are running world markets. When we're working with these highly regulated financial services companies, we find a lot of commonalities across the problems that they're looking to attack, both from a business perspective and from a technical perspective. On the business side, of course, these customers are looking to drive a premium user experience, so their mobile banking customers have trust and faith in their systems and applications. And from a technical perspective, these environments are really heavily regulated, and they span across the cloud as well as physical on-prem infrastructure. And there's also a lot of third-party applications that are relied on in the workflows that their customers experience. So configuring Datadog and driving observability across these environments can be very difficult for them to manage, and that's where RapDev comes in and helps. We have a number of different very critical trading platforms and market makers that we work with, where it's extremely critical for them to have real-time insight into the transactions that are happening within their systems. And they need to be at sub-second, even sub-microsecond latency when it comes to executing their transactions. So RapDev worked very closely with these customers to ensure that the tracing overhead that is innately required when it comes to implementing APM is as low as possible and doesn't affect their production systems. One of RapDev's global banking customers, for example, has a heavy reliance on third-party core banking applications within their mobile banking process for their customers. So that means there is traces that span across systems and technologies that they own, as well as systems and technologies that are offered to them by a third party. For example, Temenos is one of those offerings, and the Swift banking applications as well is another step in their process. And getting visibility not only into the systems and applications they own, but also the very dependent and reliant third-party systems becomes more difficult, and something that RapDev helps work through with them. Also, in many of our leading banking and financial services customers, there's a big focus on improving their time to market and the agility of their developers. And Datadog, and with RapDev's help in particular, can be a really big enabler for that speed and velocity from developers. We help to make it so that our customers have automation built into the developer's workflow. So a developer's building a new service and they want dashboards, monitors, SLOs, the Datadog software catalog to all be provisioned right at the origination of that service. And so we embed heavily into that origination stage of the developer workflow so that all of that other information starts populating automatically as just part of a standard developer process, saving these developers a lot of time, but also ensuring that observability is built in. In addition, these customers have extremely regulated requirements when it comes to who can access their log data within the company. And we help design a very comprehensive RBAC strategy on Datadog to ensure they're compliant with all of their security laws from a log access and storage and retention requirement perspective. One of our large market making and trading customers was looking at Datadog to replace the detection rules that they had built in Splunk over a 10 to 12 year period. And that is hundreds of detection rules that have been built up over many years by many people. And we help them understand what the use cases were for all those detection rules, categorize them into migration groups, and migrate them and modernize them into Datadog. A big part of that journey, in addition to just migrating the existing detection rules into Datadog from a SIEM perspective, was also enabling better root cause analysis and better root cause findings from a security perspective with Datadog's security agent. The way that can work, though, is it requires clean, consistently tagged data so that the AI can actually do its work. But with that configuration being driven in a clean manner, That allowed this customer to ultimately save over 60% of time when it came to investigating certain medium to high criticality security incidents, because the AI did a majority of that work for them. RapDev is uniquely positioned to help our financial services and highly regulated customers through their Datadog and observability journey. We've worked with many extremely distributed global teams on rolling Datadog out in a consistent and compliant manner and helping them get critical insight into their user journeys from a banking and mobile application perspective.